Well, how about this, ladies and gentlemen? We have a historic matchup right here in the house. I am Raucous Ron, and with me here, Electra Blue. We're going to be bringing you all the action on this track. It is going to be a fantastic bout game.
That's right. These two teams have known each other for a very long time, going all the way back to the Dust Devil in 2006. We have played each other, well, eight times.
Wow.
That's a lot of games.
A lot of history here between these two.
That's right. Most recently, the Continental Divide and Conquer, Texas with a win, 136 to 112. And that was back in 2011, so here we are, 2014. Few changes.
Yeah, and right now, Texas ranked way up there, #3 in the world. Definitely one of the contenders for the Hydra this year, to be certain. Kansas City having a little bit of a stumble in the charts, down at 29 right now, but still scrappy and fighting hard.
That's right. We're going to take a quick minute to run through some rosters. For the Texas Roller Girls Executioners, we have 02 Shortcut, 03 Olivia Shootin' John, 108 Fifi Nominum, number 12 DeBella DeBall, number 1600 Barbara Ambush, number 19 Molotov Impale, number 22 Polygon, number 27 Peace War, number 30 Bloody Mary, number 33 Loose Bandit, number 420 Stoneher, number 5 Smarty Pants, number 55 Hosta Boss, number 8112 Cease and Desist, number 813 Bitter Cup, and 989 Sarah Heupel.
And for the Kansas City Roller Warriors, 0 Peter Gabriel, 11 Barbarian, / Annie Mall, 118 Raina Payne, 15 Team USA's Trauma, 219 Road Hash, 22 Ruth Canal, 24 Bruiser, 34 Accelerator, 38 Hydrogen Bombshell, 47 Dr. Dread, 71 Chewy, 79 Mary Lou Wretched, 84 Tough Noogies, 99 Ram Ram, D11R Rump Wrecker, and Woo Aaron Nobra.
And starting out today on the jammer line, that is 03 Olivia Shootin' John, Texas in the black with red accents. Kansas City Dr. Dread, number 47 on the line. Kansas City in white.
Pushing both of the respective walls, the jammers grinding in. Dr. Dread against the back wall and busting free out the front. Olivia Shootin' John.
Texas starting out strong with lead jammer status.
And Olivia Shootin' John in the pack again, grinding her way through quickly, picking up a full 5 points. Dr. Dread still fighting that back wall. Dr. Dread now recycled. OJ trying to get by. Bruiser does.
OJ taking a quick moment to check the clock. Texas blockers doing a good job holding Dr. Dread back, giving Olivia Shootin' John all the room to score.
Yeah, Dr. Dread keeps making it through those blockers, but then they recycle to the front so quickly. She gets trapped again. Through for another 5. OJ. Big hits in the back. Barbarian going to the box on a low block. Olivia Shootin' John held up temporarily at the front of the pack by some good blocking by Tough Noogies.
And Dr. Dread having a tough time at the back wall of Texecutioner blockers.
Legendary team of blockers out there. OJ recycled by Bruiser and quickly back into the action.
And it's Trauma heading to the penalty box for a track cut, joining teammate for Kansas City, 4-2 pack advantage for Texas.
And fantastic work by Bruiser 2 times in a row there, recycling the jammer for Texas.
And Dr. Dread hit to the inside by DeBella DeBall, forcing her to recycle all the way through. Still not through on her first pass, and that is called. Olivia Shootin' John picking up another 5 points, starting out strong for Texas. 25 for Texas. Kansas City not able to get through this first jam. Yesterday's bout, we saw Texas do something very similar, coming out very strong in the first few minutes with the Ole rollers. Give them a little cushion. Now lining up, we have Haas the Boss.
And for Kansas City, Ruth Canal.
Again, Texas in black, Kansas City in the white.
Haas the Boss quickly through and quickly around. Lead jammer.
Annie Mall taking time for the penalty box.
Tough Noogies falls down. That is a back block for Haas the Boss.
That's right. We have a power jam now for Kansas City.
And Ruth Canal is free on her initial pass. And this one will go 2 minutes.
Smarty Pants joining Haas the Boss in the penalty box. We have Annie Mall still sitting in the penalty box for Kansas City.
Now Ruth recycled, but engaging again against that tough defense, face-to-face with Fifi Nomenon.
And that was Peace War now joining teammate Smarty Pants in the penalty box. 5 points scored for Kansas City.
So now the Roller Warriors on the board. Oh, some defense by Haas the Boss. Coming in and catching Ruth unawares, knocks her out of bounds and recycles her. Team bridges back accordingly. Grinding, crushing pack. This is a rival that goes back a long ways here. So,
and trauma for Kansas City going to the penalty box for a forearm penalty.
Some of these skaters have skated against each other for, I don't know, 9, 10 years. A lot of experience on this track.
That's right. Annie Mall has come against the Texecutioners before. 4 points for Haas the Boss.
Haas the Boss now behind a 3-wall in the back. Come to an almost complete stop as Annie Mall, Bruise her, and Noogies holding the line.
So that is the end of that jam. Texas now 32 on the board. Kansas City able to get points this last time. 10 points on the board for them. Still lots of time in this first period.
Kansas City will send in Peter Gabriel.
And that is number 420, Stoneher, new Texecutioner this year for 2014.
Fantastic skater. Watched her skate down in Florida and at divisionals last year, or regionals, whatever they were. She is loose. Stoneher on the hunt for points now. Peter Gabriel using some strength, breaks free from the pack.
Stoneher calling it off again. New player for Texecutioners this year. Texecutioners with a very deep jammer bench, as we've seen. We have OJ, Bloody Mary, and Haas the Boss generally, but we can throw in Sarah Heupel, we can throw in Fifi Nomenon, we can throw in Smarty Pants, and you just saw Stoneher.
I would say that just about anybody on that bench you could throw in and be a world-class jammer or blocker. Fantastically deep bench.
And OJ on the line for Texas.
Mary Lou Retchett for Kansas City. OJ, lead jammer. Bruise her, taking a trip to the penalty box. Boom, crash in the pack. Barbarian, failure to reform to the penalty box, and OJ on the hunt again. Nice sealed wall for Texas.
Texas pushing the entire pack to the outside, opening up a big window on the inside for OJ to sneak on through.
Yeah, they are good at those design screens and plays on the track.
And Olivia Shootin' being called out for a back block penalty. Another opportunity for Kansas City in a power jam.
Yep, sometimes when you skate fast, you take some risk like that. It pays off sometimes. It come up with a penalty. Phenomenon also headed to the box, so a reduced pack. And no jammer for Texas as Kansas City attempts their own moves. On the track, wretched through, grabbing another 5 for Kansas City. Putting Kansas City up to 20, Texas at 50.
Still 22 minutes left in this first period. We have a forearm penalty on shortcut, joining teammate Fifi Nominum in the box. And that is time 3-3 for each team, that last pass. 53 now on the board for Texas, 23 for Kansas City. Lining back up on the line, that is Haas the Boss in black for Texas and Dr. Dread in white for Kansas City, number 47.
Doc Skinner, the NSO, blows the whistle, and the action is off. Dr. Dread hunting for an angle on the outside, gets recycled. Meanwhile, Haas the Boss, lead jammer.
Pack advantage is for Kansas City, but Haas the Boss doing a good job getting through the 4 players from Kansas City.
They cut track on Haas the Boss, so power jam, Dr. Dread. Get out there.
Annie Mall heading to the penalty box herself. Dr. Dread jamming unopposed in a power jam. 4-3 pack in favor of Texas.
Dr. Dread looking for some space on the inside.
Smarty Pants knocking her to the inside, forcing her to recycle to the back of the pack.
Dr. Dread spins around on the inside, grabs 5 points. Nice footwork and spin on the inside.
Haas the Boss now rejoining the pack herself.
Wow, Haas the Boss so good at that. Outside shove and recycling from the jammer position. We've seen it twice tonight.
Haas the Boss, another spin move around the outside. 5 in the sky for Texas.
Dr. Dread gets an angle on the inside. Almost makes it through, but Texas recycling her again. Meanwhile, Haas the Boss grabs another 5.
And Annie Mall heading to the penalty box. Pack advantage now for Texas. Dr. Dread facing a huge wall of Texas blockers. Smarty Pants, Barbara Ambush, and Shortcut in the back. And that is time for that jam. 68 now on the board for Texas. Kansas City, 33. Just a little over 19 minutes left.
Dr. Dread picking up some points there at the end of that one as well. Looked like about 8.
And that is Stoneher again on the line for Texas. Ruth Canal for Kansas City.
Ruth Canal had a good game yesterday.
And lead jam goes to Texas.
Stoneher really has that look to her that she is also going to be one of those top tier, top name. Wow, like that, look at that. Oh, incredible footwork along the outside, staying inbounds after taking a tough hit.
Texas just really doing a good job with their footwork, doing lots of drills and lots of practicing for footwork.
Bruiser said not 2 times in a row, though, and recycles her back. Bruiser, lots of recycling hits this time.
Big wall of white players for Stoneher to get through.
Whoa, she stays inbounds despite all those hits. Annie Mall, Barbarian laying some good hits, keeps her feet inbounds.
And The bench for Texas cheering her on, very impressed with her footwork. Ruth Canal up against Bitter Cup and Polygon in the back. Jammer killer Polygon.
And now forcing a cut track bruiser with a big smile out there. She doesn't smile very often, but she's like, that was mine. Power jam for Ruth Canal and Kansas City. And Ruth Canal will head around to the box.
Looks like she's having a little tough time with big hit to her chest, trying to catch her breath as she heads to the penalty box. We'll have a jammer switch out now. So now Stoneher rejoining the pack. 4-4 in the pack. And Stoneher at the last whistle there being called back out. 5 points on the board now. 82 for Texecutioners. Kansas City with 38.
Well, Kansas City put up 50 yesterday against Rose City, so Kansas City off to relatively a darn good start here.
That's right, Stoneher, of course, and Ruth Canal, 2 jammers, both sitting in the penalty box right now. Texas having a little bit of a hard time with jammer penalties. Hasselboss with 2 herself for track cuts. Stoneher, second penalty. So Texas lining up at the jammer line, taking a minute here. Let's give a shout out to some of our sponsors. The Horsehead, a longtime supporter of the Emerald City Roller Girls. And Pork. Pork is published out of Eugene and partnering with ECRG. Pork is not for squares.
Don't forget about the Team USA versus Big O MVP bout. You'll see a lot of the skaters out here on that track. The WFTD teams will vote 1 MVP blocker and jammer from the opposing team for each game played. These MVPs will play against Team USA, the best skaters in the world, during a half-hour exhibition bout Saturday night at 7 p.m. This will be the last game of the tournament.
And we wanted to remind all skaters that if you are on skates, you need to be in full gear. So all skaters, everybody, referees, skaters, everybody on skates, full gear, please, when you're on the track. And the TV in the Wild Duck Cafe between track 1 and tracks 2 and 3 is playing all games on track 1 all day. And we wanted to remind everybody to be kind to all your volunteers, staff, and officials as they are volunteering their time, and please be respectful. Emerald City, amazing hosts so far for this tournament here in beautiful Eugene, Oregon. We've had perfect weather.
Oh my goodness, Eugene, Oregon, Emerald City Roller Girls. What fantastic host. Everything that we've needed as volunteers has been there for us. The event is spectacular. I'd say everyone's having a great time.
This is my first time in Eugene, and I'm very happy to be here. It's a beautiful city, crystal clear skies. There's mountains here. We don't have those things in Texas so much.
Or in Missouri, you know. It's kind of special, I think.
All right, so the officials taking some time.
Got to work those things out. These are all
Black
seasoned
was
veterans.
challenging the back block call on Black 420. They were stating that they thought that the contact was not enough force to actually send the blocker down. The call will stand.
All right, so there we have it. The call stays. Texas challenging Stoneher's back block call. We are starting this jam with both jammers briefly sitting in the penalty box. We'll have a quick rotation through 4-4 in the pack for each team.
It's something you don't see very often. It kind of keeps it interesting.
We're waiting for Kansas City jammer to be released. Ruth Canal released, joining the pack.
Ruth Canal getting a lot of help out there from her team, trying to lay some offensive blocks. Fifi Dominant able to knock her out. Just got to cycle back behind these vaunted Texas blockers.
And now Stoneher also joining the pack. Wall of white in front, wow. Wall of black, but victorious is Stoneher. Lead jam for Texas.
Like a street fight in the pack out there. Everyone's hitting everyone.
And that is Barbara Ambush heading to the penalty box for Texas, so we do have pack advantage now for Kansas City.
Ruth still looking for an opening at the back, stymied, but meanwhile Stoneher grabs another 5 points. Ruth Canal breaking free. Stoneher coming in hard, being blocked by Raina Payne. Road hash, trauma, and bruise. It's quite a blocker combination there for Kansas City.
DeBella to ball, taking Ruth Canal to the inside, forcing her back around.
Kansas City with a tough front wall, holding Stoneher steady.
Kansas City doing excellent job with defense today, having a little trouble in yesterday's bout, but looking like they've regrouped a little bit and doing a good job playing against Texas.
Road hash with a high block there. She was pounding some big hits.
And that is that jam, 3-3 for each team. That last pass, 90 now on the board for Texas. Kansas City with 41, just a little under 15 minutes left in this first period. And we are now lining back up with OJ on the line and Peter Gabriel, I'm sorry, at number 0 for Kansas City, first time jamming tonight, pack advantage, Texas.
Peter Gabriel, affectionately known as Foe, battling the back wall. Meanwhile, lead jammer Texas, OJ. Nice work by Barbarian, but OJ sliding by.
5 in the sky for Olivia Shootin' John, lead jammer for Texas.
Now, lots of activity in the pack there. Annie Mall gets the star, but heads to the box.
That's right. We had a star pass, and unfortunately not successful. Annie Mall going to sit in the penalty box for 30 seconds. OJ left in a power jam.
Yeah, pushing hard past those blockers of Kansas City. Kansas City putting in great effort here, obviously. Smarty Pants with some great offensive blocking, kind of breaks up Kansas City's wall.
That's right, starting in a little bit of a passive offense, and Smarty is sent as a wrecking ball of sorts.
That is right. Texas so effective at this strategy last year. Really, really knocking on the door of the Hydra. Came so close.
And another 5 in the sky for Olivia Shootin' John. Annie Mall now heading back to the penalty box for a high block penalty. Oh, sorry, that was actually a forearm. And the referees are saying the pack is here, which means Kansas City has to let OJ go. Another 5 points for Texas.
OJ cranking the scoreboard.
Now Texas with 115, Kansas City 41. 12 minutes left in this first half. We do have a timeout now.
Some discussion on the track.
It looks like this is an official timeout.
We'd like to thank Blair Alley for bringing the after party to Whitaker on Sunday night. Blair Alley, Thank you very much. And it will be at Whitaker. That's going to be a crazy party. I hear that the Big O parties are just absolutely legendary. I see all the posts, and I was like, of course I wanted to come see Texas and Philly and all these Rose, all these great teams here. But man, the after party. I live for that after party, and I'm going to be dancing my booty off. And you are too, Electra Blue.
Oh, yes. We've danced once or twice together, Raucous Ron. We go way back, probably as long as these two teams do, ironically.
Yeah, that is great. You know, it's wonderful when you develop that relationship between teams. You have so many friends, so when you play each other, you hang out. And that's what's great about tournaments like this. It's a big Derby family, a big community. And once again, everybody keep it positive because we're all here to have fun. We all travel on our own budget usually, so.
That's right, but again, a big thank you to Emerald City Roller Girls for feeding us all weekend long. Often we're here all day, so again, hosts with the most.
Yeah, and talking to the skaters on the teams, they have really enjoyed that as well. Appreciated everything.
I wanted to remind everybody that we do have shout-outs for sale at the Thrive vendor booth. It's right next to the Big O merch booth, and it's only $1. You can have a personal shout-out over the loudspeaker on track 1. Go to the Thrive booth to fill out a note right now.
Don't forget about the Big O raffle. You want to get in on this one. There will be 2 baskets raffled off both Saturday and Sunday night, one geared towards skaters, the other towards fans. Local goods in the fan basket, lots of skate goodies in each of the skater baskets, plus 1 RollerCon MVP ticket in each. So skaters, get yourself in on the Big O raffle. You might just win yourself a trip to RollerCon as an MVP, and lots of good goodies. Sounds great to me. I think I'm going to get my girl some raffle tickets.
I think you should. So we'll wait for the officials to.
Kansas City was challenging the forearm call that put their jammer in the penalty box. The call will stand.
And there we have it, challenging forearm penalty for Annie Mall. So Haas the Boss left in a power jam for Texas, pack 4 for Texas, 3 for Kansas City.
So a little break for us. Well, everyone else but us. And we're back to the action. Haas the Boss pushing on Kansas City's front wall. Finds an angle, gets it. Lead jammer, Texas. Trauma play in the middle. Bruise her and Ram sealing off the front. Good blocking, able to hold her back, but not for too long as Haas the Boss snags 5.
Meanwhile, Annie Mall trying her best to get through that wall of Texas blockers in the back. While Haas sneaks through for another 5 in the sky for Texas.
Nice defense there. Trauma with the hip on Haas the Boss, forcing her to come way back. Meanwhile, Annie Mall stuck in the 3-wall up front. Haas the Boss through 4-5. Annie Mall loose, but sucked back into the pack.
Barbara Ambush being called out for a penalty, but not before passing Annie Mall off to Polygon, the jammer killer. And Haas the Boss, excellent footwork, sneaking through the inside there. Another 5 points on the board for Texas.
So Annie Mall joins the wall. And Haas the Boss tries to slice through the middle. Ram playing aggressive. Some big hits. Haas the Boss with that spin move. Whoa, nice move.
But Annie Mall also through now and eligible to score points, having a tough time battling through the back wall of Sarah Heipel, Polygon, and Molotov Impale. And now they're back at it again.
Hoss the Boss runs into the back of Noogies and kind of falls backwards. A lot of people do that when they hit Noogies.
And that is Sarah Heupel heading to the penalty box. 4 more points on the board for Hoss the Boss. And that is the end of that jam. Now Texas, big lead now, 154 on the board. Kansas City, 45, just a little under 10 minutes. Again, if you're watching at home, Texas in the black with the red accents, Kansas City in white with red accents.
And despite the score, we have a fight out here on the track. Kansas City working hard to stay up with this number 3 team.
It looks
Quite
like
the challenge, but they are excited for it. I know they were all pumped up this morning and really intense for it.
Well, after the bout yesterday, Kansas City having a little bit of trouble again today, having regrouped a little bit, coming back strong, building some good walls, which they of course they do need for Texas. It sounds like the game is about to commence over on track 3, getting a little crossover here. Team time out for Texas. And again, number 420, new player Stoneher on the line for Texas. That is Mary Lou Wretched, number 79 for Kansas City. 3-3 pack, Sarah Heupel in the penalty box for Texas. And Tough Noogies for Kansas City.
The captain, Mary Lou Wretched, trying to get through the 3-wall in the back of Texas. Pushing out front, getting separation from the pack.
And lead jam goes to Stoneher for Texas.
Barbarian taking the trip to the box. Oh, no, correction. Rumprecker.
And that's another 5 in the sky. Texas.
Stoneher, wow, great juke move from the inside to the outside, fakes out the defense, draws them to the inside. She's got that wonderful kind of pirouette thing with the feet. I don't know what you call that, but it's wonderful.
And Stoneher trying to get past the Bruiser being called out for a penalty out of play. So 5 more points on the board for Texas.
Rumprecker comes off the box, but cycled way back. Meanwhile, 2 blockers on the track for Kansas City. Stoneher on the attack. Sneaks by with some help, some offensive blocking help.
Texas blockers are doing a good job holding back Kansas City players.
Gets that separation. Racks up another 5. I think we're going to see a lot of Stoneher this year.
I think we might. Texas always training up new players, we have a very deep veteran bench, but we also have lots of new players and train them up pretty quickly.
Fantastic work by Barbarian. Barbarian causing that recycling effort there at the end of the play by Stoneher. So definitely some bright spots in here for Kansas City, representing well, I think.
That was a big jam for new skater Stoneher, with 187 on the board for Texas. Kansas City still at 45. 7 minutes left in this first half. Lining back up on the line, that is Dr. Dredd for Kansas City and OJ for Texas.
Dr. Dredd in the back. Meanwhile, Texas lead jammer again. OJ, a little skip past Barbarian, trying to slice through, jump through. A hop, skip, and a jump is what you'd call that. Literally a hop, skip, and a jump through the pack. Dr. Dredd recycled right out front.
That was Polygon taking her to the inside.
Pack goes down in a big pile. call it a dog pile, but somebody might get offended or something.
Barbarian has to let her go. 5 more points on the board for Texas. Road hash for Kansas City going to the penalty box.
And we've got star pass Trauma trying to fight her way through. Jumping the apex to try and come through on her initial pass as after the star pass. The jam will be called before Trauma can get in there. Trauma is so good with that star on. Typically, Kansas City is going to keep her in the pack, you know, but occasionally they will send her out to do some damage with the star.
Well, like you mentioned, a lot of these players can play multiple positions. Just that's the skill level we're looking at now with these teams. So now Texas 205, Kansas City 45. Haas the boss back on the line for Texas. Ruth Canal for Kansas City.
Both skaters at the back. Haas the boss finds an angle, is through. Lead jammer for Texas. Box is cleared, so we have all the skaters on the track. Ruth Canal, as she does, pushing hard. She just kind of keeps fighting. Trying to get some help into offensive blocking help in the pack, but to no avail. Noogies will take a trip to the box for that big hit. And Haas the boss now up against the back wall of Kansas City. Chewy, Road Hash, Barbarian. Haas, like she does, slices her way through.
Meanwhile,
5 more for Texas.
Meanwhile, Ruth Canal also fighting her way through the wall of Texecutioner blockers. It's Bella DeBall, Fifi, Namina, Molotov, and Pale, and Barbara Ambush. That is a tough crowd.
Oh, I'm telling you. And you know what? Ruth Canal has passed every one of them at least once or twice out there on the track, but they recycled to the front of the pack so well that it's like a never-ending battle.
And Texas is so good at forming those big walls.
Yeah, they set up those turnaround blocking 3-unit sets, and they're very difficult to deal with one-on-one.
That's right. Barbara Ambush pretty much at a complete stop for Ruth Canal. Fifi Nominum taking her to the inside.
And cut track for Ruth Canal. That was some great backwards movement through the pack to make that happen.
And that is Chewy also joining teammate in the penalty box. 5 more points on the board for Haas the Boss. Pack advantage for Texas, 4 on 3.
So short-handed. Playing a little passive offense. Haas the Boss cutting in for 4 more. Texas, just incredible.
That's right. Now, score update. We have 229 for Texas. Kansas City with 45. Just a little over 3 minutes left. We'll probably get 2 or 3 more in.
Yeah, Kansas City, you know, they've got a lot of great veteran skaters on the team, but certainly, admittedly, they have some developing skaters without as much experience, and this is the kind of experience they need, so this is fantastic for them to be here facing off against a team like Texas. And on the track,
that is Stoneher, lead jammer.
Stoneher getting knocked out of bounds by Trauma. Trauma showing those skills that got her Team USA. Tries to run back, get her recycled, but Stoneher continues to fight forward. 5 points, Texas.
And meanwhile, Ruth Canal pushing on that back wall of Texecutioner blocker as Bitter Cup being sent out for a penalty. Stoneher knocking on that wall. 4 Kansas City blockers in the back of the pack able to get through, and 5 more points for Texas.
So Ruth Canal again working on the Texas wall. High block called.
And as Sarah Heipel has to let her go now. Ruth Canal through, eligible to score points herself.
Polygon gone to the bench. I mean, gone to the penalty box. Polygon just blew my mind last year at Champs. I absolutely fell in love with that skating. It's incredible. Her blocking out front. I'm gushing, but it's great stuff.
And that is Stoneher, lead jammer for Texas. 5 more points on the board.
Excellent move, juke and move to the outside for Stoneher.
That's right, with only 2 Kansas City players on the track, 2 in the penalty box. Stoneher having a little easier time getting through, but not that easy right now. That is Bruiser putting the bruise on Stoneher, but she does get through. 5 more points on the board for Texas.
And a cut track for Ruth. She will return to the penalty box, and Texas will start in a power jam.
That's right, we'll probably have a time to do one more jam here. 2:53 now on the board for Texas, 47 for Kansas City. About 30 seconds left in this first period. We'll get this one more jam in. Bruiser taking the pivot cover. So we have OJ back on the line for Texas, jamming unopposed in a power jam. 4-4 in the pack.
And through for lead jammer is Olivia Shooten-John. Kansas City with a good veteran wall up front. Annie Mall with some shoving, but breaking down the wall and getting through.
5 more points for OJ and Texas. Ruth Canal rejoined the pack, hitting that back wall of Texas blockers. That's new skater Peace War, along with Smarty Pants, Loose Bandit.
And another full contingent of points, including that jammer point. OJ and a cut track for Ruth Canal. So
another power jam for Texas. 5 more points on the board for OJ. Her bench telling her to keep skating. Pack advantage for Texas, 2 with Kansas City blocker and jammer in the penalty box.
Kansas City with great effort, but just couldn't quite get her out of bounds.
Annie Mall tried, but OJ is good on her skates, so sneaking around that outside.
Very elusive, so hard to push out of bounds, really holds on to those lines, just refuses to go out. Takes a lot of force.
Oh, that is OJ being called out for a forearm penalty. Kansas City now with an opportunity to finish out this jam in a power jam.
Direction of gameplay for Tough Nuggies.
And
Kansas
that
City
is time. Our first half score now 282 for Texas. Kansas City with 47. A little bit of jammer penalties trouble from both teams.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at that penalty chart over there. But Kansas City having a rough time, but you know, out there fighting as hard as they can. I'm enjoying watching it. Still entertaining. I love those individual matchups and performances. And we're gonna check out for a little while, but we'll return to you with the action for the second half. WFTDA.TV. Doing some gear checks here as we have returning to the track after halftime, the Kansas City Roller Warriors and the Texecutioners. I'd like to give a thank you to our vendors. Please thank our vendors for coming to the Big O and encourage people to go shopping. Support the people that support Derby, and it's a lot of fun to go over there and pick out some gear for yourself and some new clothes. I know I've done my share of shopping since I've been here. I really like to support those people that are here and brought all their gear and traveled a long way. So thank you to Armored Rose, Bont, Bruce, Skate Noose, and all the rest.
And we are now back, second half of Texas Roller Girls Texecutioners versus Kansas City Roller Warriors. Texas with 282, Kansas City with 47. High scorers for the first half, Olivia Shooten-John OJ with 104. Haas the Boss with 75 and Stoneher with 83.
Wow, that's some impressive point scoring there by those top 3 jammers. Peter Gabriel for Kansas City finds a hole through the 3-wall. Great way to start here for Kansas City in the second half. Peter Gabriel, one of those rookie skaters who's got a bright future, still figuring out the game and all of her moves, but looking aggressive right now. Picks up a cut track as her foot stepped out of bounds. OJ now on the attack for the Texecutioner. She will slice through almost untouched. 5 points, Texas. And a big pile up on the floor. A couple skaters go down, and one is slow to get back up.
And that is Polygon heading to the penalty box for Texas. First time in the penalty box tonight. Texas with a little bit of penalty trouble, mostly with the jammers.
OJ with a move around the outside, grabbing another 5.
It's okay.
OJ continuing to roll as she gets set on the Kansas City 4 wall. Kansas City holding strong, has her held to a stop at this moment with bruise and trauma, starting to break it down. Bruise will take a trip to the box. Meanwhile, Peter Gabriel back out on the track, and Foe grabs points as well.
Both teams picking up 5 as they pass each other. 5 for OJ, 5 for Pete.
Peter Gabriel has developed very quickly as a young skater. We are happy to have her in our ranks as an up-and-coming all-star jammer.
So in the first half, too, Kansas City with a little bit of penalty trouble. We have Barbarian now sitting with 5 penalties, Ruth Canal with 4, and Tough Noogies teetering on the edge with 6 penalties.
Mary Lou Wretched, the captain, looking for some space against the Texas wall. But Phenomenon is phenomenal and hard to stop. Lead jammer Texas.
Haas the Boss going to the penalty box.
Mary Lou Wretched did make it through in point scoring position, but Texas will continue the jam, counting on the wall to hold back the Kansas City jammer. Mary Lou Wretched getting some separation, breaks free, grabs 4 for Kansas City, so Kansas City continuing to score, but not quite as quickly as Texas.
That's right, Texas with some big scores that first half, as I mentioned, 104 for OJ. Single-handedly. Stoneher impressive with her 83 in her first jam as a Texecutioner.
Absolutely, and Phenomenon grabbing more points, coming in with a big hip hit on Ruth Canal. She'll come through, grabbing another full high 5 from the ref.
Texas with a few natural power jams in this game so far.
Bitter Cup and company holding down the front line. So cool to see some of these incredible jammers like Haas the Boss come out and also be phenomenal from the blocking position, doing the turnaround front blocking.
That is Bitter Cup being called out.
Phenomenon now with another 5. That'll do it for that one, but Mary Lou does grab 4 on the back end of this one for Kansas City.
Texas now in the 300 range, 323 on the board, 60 for Kansas City. 25 minutes left in this game.
We'd like to thank all the people watching us on WFTDA.tv. We are announcing to the house and to the web all over the world. People are seeing this and hearing this, so good stuff.
And that is Sarah Heupel, lead jammer right out of the gate for Texas. Hot on her heels, though, is
Dr. Dredd.
Dredd.
She said she wants to hear other announcers say my name too sometimes. Dr. Dredd knocked to the outside. Sarah Heupel works on the wall, gets around the outside with a quick dip move.
Oh, that was
crashing.
Huge pile
Wow.
up. That's Bitter Cup, Molotov, and Pail, all ending in a big clump with Sarah Heupel.
Dr. Dredd grabbing 4 for Kansas City, but getting some jammer on jammer action. Now Sarah Heupel and Dredd working the pack. Dr. Dredd trying to find an angle on the outside. Bitter Cup forcing her back. That'll do it for that one.
Sarah Heupel calling it off. Couple of points more on the board for Texas.
Looks like we've got some discussion on the floor from Kansas City about what happened there.
Yeah, that was it was a little confusing. A couple of tumbles on the floor, so we're going to take a minute to assess the situation. Now, Texecutioners sitting at 334, Kansas City with 66. Official review from that last jam. So we'll take a moment to thank some of our sponsors. We have Oakshire Brewing. We'd like to thank Oakshire Brewing, Strength, Independence, and Community.
Oh, that is some great beer brewed locally here.
Is it? I'll
Good
have to try it.
stuff. Oh, man.
If I ever leave the venue where I've been pretty much since yesterday morning. Also, let's thank Aaron's Lease to Own Furniture and Appliances. And they are streaming, I guess, track 1 in the Wild Duck Cafe. Thanks to LTD for supporting the Big O. And check out the One Pass for only $50. Your kids get access to I don't even know how to pronounce this. So it's Willimaline facilities and unlimited LTD rides all summer.
Yeah,
Must
I had
be
the
an
same
amusement
problem.
park.
Willimalane.
Willimalane.
Willimalane facility. Fun for kids.
It is fun for kids. And thanks largely to Recyco, a.k.a. Carolyn Stein. The Big O is a certified environmentally and socially responsible event. They're doing composting here. There is no trash, no landfill, all composting and recyclable.
You know, I love that. They've been very conservative with the paper we're using both sides, reusing paper by putting plastic over it, and a lot of great ideas for tournaments out there. There are ways to hold tournaments and not create a ton of stuff on the floor. It looks like we're about ready to resume the action.
Kansas City was questioning the clockwise block on white 111. It was a sustained clockwise block, and the call will stand.
All right, well, there you have it. Annie Mall still has to serve out the rest of the penalty. The stand stays. Road hash for Kansas City, doing a little dance routine with Smarty Pants at the jammer line. Pack advantage is Kansas City, 3-on-2 for Kansas City.
First jam of the game for Road Hash, the co-captain.
And it is Smarty Pants is your lead jammer. Sorry.
I'm watching Moon Team too much. Yep, Smarty Pants now racking up 5. Kansas City losing their jammer to the box.
That is a high block penalty assessed on Road Hash. So Smarty Pants picking up another 5 in the sky for Texas on her 3rd pass.
Seeing some new jammers in the game here in the second half for Texas for sure. Trying to make sure everybody on that lineup, I'm assuming, is ready to jam and block.
That's right. Oh, we have a back block penalty assessed on Smarty Pants, so we will have a little jammer rotation here now, releasing Road Hash back to the pack.
Oh, playing some passive offense, but coming in aggressively is Road Hash. She is taken down to the outside and recycled.
That is a pretty big wall up in front there. And Barbara Ambush being called out for a penalty.
Meanwhile, Smarty Pants continuing this big scoring run on this particular jam. Aggressively coming into Kansas City is recycled back by Bruise Her and Annie Mall with a combined block. Fights her way through. 5 in the sky, Texas. You want to do some play-by-play for a while?
And we have a track cut on Barbarian.
You want to do some play-by-play for a while?
Unless you want to do color.
Oh, no, it's I don't know, just offering up.
I think we're just going to do 50-50-ish a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm mostly used to doing color, so I'll do it. So now we have Fifi Nominum lining back up second time in this game for Texas. And of course we have Peter Babriel on the line. Kansas City, 3-3 in the pack for each team.
Pack all clustered together in turn one. Peter Babriel pushing hard for the outside, trying to find an angle, but getting the hip of a Texas blocker. And recycled. Meanwhile, out front, Fifi Phenomenon grinding past the legendary Bruise Her lead jammer. Fifi Phenomenon, 5 more. Foe digging hard for the front.
As Peter
One
Babriel.
more to pass. Oh, holding on strong to that line, but a forearm major.
Forearm penalty forced by Haas the Boss out front. So now Fifi Nominum, the only jammer on the track in a power jam for Texas, still has to get past that wall at front of Kansas City. Bruise Her. Has to let her go. 5 more points for Fifi Nominum.
Offensive blocking. Fake for Texas. It's Fifi Phenomenon working with Bruise Her in the front. Slides by her as the pack extends and bridges out forward. 5 more.
That's right.
Texas with a lot of big jams out here. A lot of high point scoring jams. Kansas City with a lot of time in the box.
That's right. The first half, OJ with a big 35-point jam. Stoneher had a 33-point jam in the first half. And now Fifi Nominum working on some points herself.
And Kansas City thus far only able to chip away at it with some lower point jams, but those in themselves small victories and something to work from.
All right, now we're at Texas with 378. Kansas City sitting at 67. Just a little under 19 minutes left in this game. Lining back up for Texas is Sarah Heupel up against Ram Ram. First time for Kansas City tonight, and we do have one Kansas City player in the penalty box, number 15.
Ram Ram, one of those big blockers you don't see with the star very much. She is a young player for Kansas City that we have a lot of hope for from the blocking position, but occasionally in home teams you'll see her with the star. I do not believe I've seen her with the star for All-Stars, so this is exciting.
It is exciting, and now she actually has an opportunity to have a power jam as Sarah Heupel gets called out for a penalty.
Getting some offensive blocking right now. Ram Ram and company continuing to work against the wall. This is like an alley fight right here. But really, what a smooth and fantastic sport. Takes a lot of power, grace, stability, balance. And fighting through is Ram Ram. Not lead jammer, but definitely in scoring position for Kansas City. Gotta be exciting to score on Texas if you're wearing that star for the first time against them.
And that is 5 in the sky for Sarah Heupel for Texas.
I wonder how many thousands of points she has scored like that with a giant apex jump. Sarah Heupel doing what she does. Wow, coming in quick, no hesitation into the pack. Sees that angle and jumps the entire pack. There she is on the outside. She says, I can do it on the inside and the outside.
That's right, multitasking. Meanwhile, Ram Ram still held up in the wall of Texas. Actually, it's more like a cyclone of Texas blockers.
That's true. They don't form a wall. They form a circular unit.
That's
kind
right.
of.
A tornado. You
Yes.
have some tornadoes there in Kansas City.
Yes.
So they are tornadoing Kansas City. Now Texas over 400 now with 402 on the board. Kansas City with 70 points. Kansas City fighting hard, playing some good defense, but just not enough to stop these Texas jammers. Now we have Smarty Pants back on the line for Texas and Rumpwrecker for Kansas City.
So Kansas City working the bench. Rumpwrecker through, lead jammer.
And that is Annie Mull heading to the penalty box. Came into the second half with 4 penalties. She's teetering on the edge herself.
Rumpwrecker came into that pack, thought she was going to grab the points, but called it just a little bit too soon.
Oh, so Annie Mull, I thought she was teetering on the edge, and she is actually not teetering. She is gone. 7 penalties assessed for this game. So Kansas City now skating short, one of their longtime veteran skaters. Fifi Nominum on the line for Texas, Dr. Dread for Kansas City.
Fifi Nominum doing those dancey, powerful hip moves she does, creating her own blocks. You gotta love these skaters that come in with their hips, bump the blocker away. Rather than trying to avoid the blocker, they say, I'm gonna take you on, move you out of the way, and I'm gonna power my way through. So doing that so well. And then Dr. Dread getting through this pack again so many times, and each time getting knocked out of bounds and recycling.
Or recycloning, as we were talking about, or the tornado.
They called it soul crushing for a reason, but Kansas City definitely holding their heads up.
Now it's Fifi Nominum sent to the penalty box, so now we have, and Dr. Dread assessing a penalty, so we're gonna have a very short jammer rotation. Track cut penalty for Dr. Dread. Fifi Nominum already taking a little breather. We'll have a switch out here. 4-4 in the pack. Again, Kansas City in the white, black for Texas. And Fifi Nominum through again, 5 more points. Okay. And Dr. Dread now also released from the penalty box, hitting immediately the wall of Texas blockers in the back. New player Peace War joining the...
Bruise her with a trip to the box, so Kansas City a little short-handed.
And that's 5 more points for Fifi Nominum. So
good offensive blocking by Trauma, trying to open up some space, trying to tear into that tornado of Texas. But Fifi Nominum, meanwhile, continuing to ramp up the points. Oh, takes the outside. Barbarian with a big bump out. So awesome move there by Barbarian at the end of the play.
Fifi Nominum almost taking out one of the referees. A little tight. So we saw in that pack of jammers from the first half, it was Haas the Boss and OJ blocking this second half. No jamming for them. Jamming for Texas now, Sarah Heupel and Road Hash for Kansas City. Pack advantage 4-3 for Texas.
Roadhash looking for an angle. Lots of pounding, but out front, Sarah Heupel and Ruth Canal twisting through the pack. Some spin moves. She is out. Lead jammer. Roadhash to the box for Kansas City. So power jam, Texas.
And that is another 5 points for Sarah Heupel. Texas now 422 as Sarah continues to score another 5 points for Texas. Kansas City trying to form a wall up front to stop Sarah Heupel. Not as easy as it would seem.
Yeah, Sarah Heupel is a fighter. The way she holds that outside line as Dutch, but now Ruth Canal sends her through, sends her out of bounds. I believe she fell down, so she didn't have to recycle.
Oh, Stoneher with a huge hit outside, putting Roadhash on the ground.
You might say she stoned her.
You might say that. Stoneher has her number again, knocking to the inside. DeBella the ball, pulling the pack to the back. Roadhash having to reform.
DeBella the ball always so aware in those positions. She bridges very well. A great skater. Been wonderful to see her develop over the years with Texas from a player who was, you know, not necessarily on the roster all the time, and then now a solid contender in with the team.
That's right, solid player indeed. 4:35 now for Texas. Kansas City with 70, just a little under 11 minutes left in this game. We have Kansas City jammer in the penalty box, so Smarty Pants jamming unopposed in a power jam for Texas.
Smarty Pants working Kansas City's front wall. Stays in bounds despite all the hits as lead jammer for Texas.
Smarty Pants getting low, assessing that wall.
Again, staying in bounds despite the big hits. Looked just like the pass before it. Grabs a big 5.
Roadhash rejoining the back of the pack there, taken to the outside by Haas the Boss, assessing a high block now. Roadhash will be going back to the penalty box. Meanwhile, Smarty Pants, another 5 in the sky for Texas.
Texas now with some offensive blocking. Kansas City bridging out forward, but to no avail as Smarty Pants continues to rock the scoreboard. Texas can score in droves. This team is very scientific in their approach to roller derby. You can tell design plays on the track.
That's right. But of course, you know, one of the only sports where you do play offense and defense at the same time, all on roller skates.
And sneaking through with a spin move after taking a hit from Ruth Canal. Smarty Pants. 5 again. This is going to turn out to be a very big jam point-wise for Smarty Pants. Rocking that scoreboard one time after another with 5s. Texas in destroyer mode.
Kansas City defense working hard to contain Smarty Pants.
Yeah, you've really got to give it up. You got to give it up for Kansas City out there in this position that they're in. They are really battling. The Kansas City players are holding their heads up, and they are fighting hard out here in this position. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Kansas City over here.
Another big jam for Texas. Smarty Pants scoring 34 on that last jam. Texas now sitting at 466. Kansas City with 70. And we got about 8 minutes and some change left in this game.
And ladies and gentlemen, how about these Texecutioners? Definitely one of the top teams in the world. Give it up for the Texecutioners.
And of course, let's also give it up for Kansas City and not giving up, still fighting out there. Come on, let's hear it for Kansas City.
You guys are great fans. That's what I love about roller derby tournament fans. There's a lot of derby love. And you know what? I love both of these teams out here. All the skaters on both the teams, they work really hard, and they deserve our love and respect.
That's
now
right.
back to roller derby.
And that is Peter Gabriel on the line for Kansas City. Fifi Nominum for Texas. Fifi Nominum breaking out first. Lead jammer for Texas.
Fifi Nominum, so difficult to stop for anyone. Even when you see her in Team USA and among the top elite skaters in the world, this is a skater that makes her way through the pack.
And also making her way through the pack is Peter Gabriel, caught up in a back wall of Texas blockers. Barbara Ambush, OJ, and Molotov and Pale. Fifi Nominum, another 5 points on the board for Texas. Texas just doing a good job, just completely recycling the movable wall, the cyclone wall. Fifi Nominum through now again, another 5 points for Texas.
So wonderful to see the evolution of this game and things that, like that cyclone wall, that are just really evolving and developing over time and making the game more interesting and strategic. And it takes a lot of training to get to this level of roller derby, and I think Texas is probably one of the hardest training teams in the world, and you can tell these girls are cut. They are athletes. They train like Olympic athletes, and you can tell they have a lot of focus.
I think a lot of it, too, we can credit to having our own practice space now where we can practice any time of the day or night, and that really does help with training. And they also do heat training in the summer when it's 100 degrees in Texas, so talk about.
Yeah, Kansas City had a practice facility that we put together, and then there was an electrical fire there, and so we kind of got shut out of our practice facility, and we've had a tough go of still having to work with, you know, the rinks for practice time and that sort of thing, and so not the best time for Kansas City right now, but this is a team that is resilient and will come back swinging. They are the Warriors for a reason.
That's right. Still keeping strong out there, still trying to push through. Now, Texecutioners knocking on the 500 door with 497. Kansas City still not scoring, still sitting with 70. Rumprecker back on the line for Kansas City. Sarah Heipel, 4-4 in the pack.
Rumprecker, one of our rookies again. You notice we got a lot of rookies out there on the track, but Rumprecker, another one that's going to fight for her points and be a good one in the future. Sarah Heipel, lead jammer. That could just be her last name. You know, Sarah Lead Jammer, right?
Sarah Lead Jammer. Sarah Lead Jammer Heipel.
Yeah, it works better as a middle name. Rumprecker continuing to wreck those rumps out there. Sarah Heipel continuing to score points.
That is Trauma going to the penalty box for Kansas City. Pack advantage now for Texas. Stoneher, Haas the Boss, and Loose Bandit forcing Rumprecker to the inside and now having to recycle back into the cyclone.
Yeah, Kansas City, that's some good blocking by Barbarian. Barbarian really coming on in this tournament and demonstrating that she is one of the elite blockers for Kansas City.
And that is another 5 points for Sarah Heipel. And we have a track cut penalty now on Kansas City. So we have another power jam for Texas. Sarah Heipel in control of this jam. 5 more points on the board for Texas. Still 4-4 in the pack.
We'll see some offensive wreck and balling there. but it'll buy her a trip to the penalty box as Haas, the boss, sits down. Heupel continues to work the defense of Kansas City. Pack stretched wide.
That is the end of that jam now. We are now sitting at 5:16 for Texas. Kansas City with 70. Probably time for a couple more with 3.5 minutes left in this game.
We'll see Dr. Dredd step out with the star. Again, a wolf on the attack.
That's right, and of course, that is Smarty Pants for Texas. Pack advantage 4-3 for Kansas City. Again, Kansas City in the white, Texas in black. And that is lead jammer for Texas. Polygon and Bella DeBall keeping Dr. Dredd back while Smarty Pants goes around the outside, putting another 5 points on the board for Texas. That is Haas the boss going back to the penalty box now.
Polygon with such great movement back and forth on the track, hard to get around. Dr. Dredd, lots of lateral movement, can't quite sneak around the outside. That is a great combination of DeBella DeBall and Polygon in the front. Meanwhile, Smarty Pants.
She's just leaning right in on that whole pack. Ram. Keeping her back there.
She's run right into that Ram, and hard to get past Ram sometimes. Meanwhile, Dr. Dredd still out there. Texas bridging, but the wall, it's breaking down, so she is released from the front on her initial pass. Now in point scoring position, Smarty Pants continues on the attack. Scoreboard winding down. Dr. Dredd now scoring, but recycled. And Smarty Pants soars through almost untouched for another 5.
And that was Ruth Cannell sitting in the penalty box now for Kansas City. Smarty Pants taking a little bump to the inside, but not thwarted there. Going back, recycling again, and now has another 5 points on the board for Texas.
Dr. Dredd continuing to fight, but Smarty Pants just slicing through. Such a smart roller derby player, aptly named.
And Smarty Pants making some faces. I think a little tired there. That was a good run for Smarty Pants. Now Texas sitting with 540. Kansas City with 73, able to get 3 points in there. Just a little under a minute left in this bout. And we have Fifi Nominum back up on the line for Texas, up against Roadhash for Kansas City, 4-4 in the pack.
Roadhash trying to help farm a 5-wall here. Now looking for her own hole, but Texas, that wall of Texas just kills jammers. It is phenomenal.
It is a jammer killer indeed. But lead jam right now is Fifi Nominum for Texas. That is Barbara Ambush going to the penalty box. 5 more points on the board for Fifi Nominum. Peace War with a big hit to the outside, taking Roadhash down, again forcing her to recycle.
Roadhash knocked out again.
And that is another 5 points for Fifi Nominum. Roadhash just battling that back wall and getting a track cut coming in front of Peace War, who had knocked her out. So now we have a power jam for Texas.
Time on the clock expires. Jam clock still running.
That's right, the game is not over until the last jam is over. And that is Fifi Nominum going to the penalty box for a back block penalty. So now we have a power jam opportunity for Kansas City.
But Kansas City, I believe the jammer fouled out. So we didn't have one to send in there.
Well, there we go. Yes, she did follow out. That's right. We're having a little penalty trouble. So that is the end of that game.
I just got to say, Kansas City fought valiantly like warriors, you know, coming from ranked 29th against number 3. I think that was a great effort that they put forth. And Texas, certainly amazing. You know, if you are a fan of roller derby, I don't see how you could not be a fan of Texas. They have got some of the finest skaters in the world, and their bench is solid top to bottom all the way through.
That's right. People actually moved to Texas to play with Texas. And again, now with our own practice space, makes it even better. Let's give it up for Texas. They're coming around. Come on down to the track. Give them all a little bit of love here.
And ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Kansas City Roller Warriors. Well, that's going to do it for us. Stay tuned for lots of action from the Big O. I'm Raucous Ron for Electra Blue. We will see you later.
That's right.